H1B, for those that don't know, it's supposed to be, hey, my company can't find the skilled enough worker for my company. I have no choice but to hire from insert other country. $85,000 per year, but that's not what it is. Patrick Bet-David got called out because apparently he had an application for, I think it was a graphic designer for $41,000 a year, something like that. Was that what it was? Was it a graphic designer? I don't know.
I'm not in the weeds that deep.
But he got called out for it. I don't think he really addressed it. He just said, hey, look, like we hire a lot of people and stuff like that. And that's not what H1B is supposed to be for.
And it's a lottery too. So like the argument that, we're getting the top 0.01%, it's like, how do you get that through a lottery? And I went through that with an employee when I was working at the Daily Caller, and we went for the H1B, didn't get the lottery, and then we got the O1 Extraordinary Persons Visa, which is a way higher bar, and the lawyers were like, this probably isn't going to work, but if you're really that talented, then you can make your case. But the H1B is literally, hey, throw my ball into there and see if it comes out in the lottery. So how do you get getting the top 0.01% from that?
Yeah, I think H1B is total BS. It's been abused by big tech. They blast the H1B lottery with as many applications as possible, so they end up getting almost all of them. And then what ends up happening is, the reason why I think H1B is fine in the concept, in concept, but it's not how it's actually brought about. The problem is, if we as a nation and all of our companies keep saying, we don't think the American people are driven enough and have the work ethic to do the job, so we have no choice but to hire someone else, you're going to bring some dude from India, from China, from wherever. They're going to come take the job. They're going to have kids. Those kids are going to grow up in a diseased culture where they develop the same as every other American, lazy and incompetent, as these people argue. I'm not saying they are. And then what's going to happen in 20 years? They're going to go, once again, all these Americans are too lazy and we have to hire from China or India. And then the children of H1B recipients are being raised in a culture where they don't learn work ethic and they don't succeed. There's only one solution. Shut down H1B and require American companies to invest in Americans. And if you're upset because you're like, yeah, but American workers are lazy, then you got to find the best of the best, the cream of the crop, and you have to work with them and train them and develop this. We have to reform this culture. We're not going to import our way out of cultural decline.
I look at it from an altruistic standpoint, right? The idea that these countries the people are fleeing them coming here because there's opportunity, right? They're brought over with opportunity. These countries not emerged, and they're coming here because their countries have not. The ultra side of me says, if we're scalping the best and the brightest, they will never have their moments, right? These people have to dig their way out of a hole, and we're taking their best shovelers. Me, what I think is, let them stay there, let them develop their own countries, let them have their revolutions, build your own thing. And in the meantime, we can build our own thing. And wouldn't that be the best thing for everyone? To be self-sufficient, not rely on foreign aid. A disaster happens, sure, we can come together, we can help some country that was riddled with an earthquake or tsunami or whatever. But in the meantime, fix your own homes.
Well, I mean, there's got to be, first of all, there has to be a motivation to do that by the countries you're referring to. I think that, like, if we're actually talking about people that are high skilled, that are like the cream of the crop, if they want to come to the United States, I don't think there's a problem with it. But at the same time, they shouldn't take it shouldn't be at the expense of Americans looking for work. So if there are Americans that can fill these jobs, the Americans should get the opportunity first. The idea of a lottery system, that's a terrible idea. The people that come to the U.S. there shouldn't be like a lottery, like, hey, you lucked out, you're the lucky guy that gets to come. It should be we identify someone that has a particular skill that.
Yeah,
pardon me.
That's what the O1 Extraordinary Persons Visa is.
That's what it should be.
We submitted a 150-page legal brief and I needed 10 recommendations from different people in the media. Submitted work samples. And you have to prove the case that, okay, this person's actually extraordinary. And actually, my letter to Immigration Services was like, the H1B gets exploited by massive companies, and we're a small media company, and he will have an outsized impact on our output, the quality of our output. And that's, there's also a minimum. So each, the bar for what the starting wages for that industry is higher. So, it's not also like you're just able to like get cheap labor.
Yeah, I don't have a like, and the people that are like, oh, let's shut down immigration. I honestly don't have any kind of like moral problem with shutting down immigration to the U.S. except for like the what was the program you're talking about? O1.
The O1, yeah.
Except for O1 visas, that's fine with me. It's not like I'm like, oh, we need to have these people come in. We need to go ahead and make sure that there are people that can get us on. You could shut down all immigration, and I wouldn't lose a bit of sleep. Right, like it doesn't matter to me.
There is an argument to be made that like the shutting down of all legal and illegal immigration to the United States would bring the economy to a halt. And I mean, obviously, like it's hard to. Okay, so.
So my point being, there are people that make a moral argument about it, because most of the people on the left, they're making a moral argument. They're like, it's wrong, it's racist, it's bad, blah blah blah. So so I'm not making an economic argument. I'm not talking about the economics of it. I'm talking about the moral side of it. There's nothing immoral about the United States saying we're not taking any more people until the people that are here assimilate. Now, if there's an economic need for them, then that's an argument you can make that says, oh, these people are going to be a benefit to the economy. Fine. I have no problem with that kind of immigration.
I don't care about, I hate that argument. I absolutely despise that argument. Sam Hyde had an amazing video. Did you guys see Sam Hyde's video on this one? Dude, what really bothers me about these libertarians, we're also having some libertarian who's going to come on and debate H1B and other issues in a couple weeks. My friends, everybody out there listening, I do not care about your economy. That's it. You want to come to me and say, hey, Tim, if we do this policy, we're going to see numbers go up by this much. I'm going to be like, don't care, because I'm a guy who's happy living in a van down by the river so long as I have a couple chickens outside. You know what I care about? Easiest example. Waking up on Christmas morning, running down the stairs, snow is falling. I know not everybody lives in an area with snow, but this is my childhood. You go out, you look out the window, it's dimly lit. It's dawn. The snow is falling. The presents are under the tree. That is unquantifiable. And that's what Sam Howe was saying. Some things are unquantifiable. I care about the traditions of this country. I care about the things that I experienced as a child that I love and enjoy, that I want to persist. And this libertarian ethic of, as long as the numbers are good, it's a fine policy is insane to me. This is why I get along with libertarians very much so on the anti-war stuff. But in this regard, y'all are crazy. And so this is what ends up happening. I said, I despise free trade. And then this one dude's like, telling me you don't understand economics without telling me you don't understand economics or whatever. And I'm like, this is the libertarian argument. Free trade, but we make money doing it. And I'm like, yeah. And then we outsource industry and kill culture.
And that's what happened with, Bush initiated NAFTA, and then Bill Clinton perpetuated those free trade policies and signed with the WTO, basically opening up trade with Asia, doing the same thing that we did with NAFTA globally. And so the Democrats, you sell a bunch of jobs overseas over the course of 20, 30 years as a uniparty, then you're going to have consequences.
Let me tell you guys something. Right now, I skateboard, right? Right now, what region of the planet do you think is biggest for skateboarding?
Brazil.
I was going to actually say Brazil.
Brazil's good, but no. But it is funny that you didn't say, I don't know, the United States, considering that's where it's from, and Southern California is supposed to be the skateboarding mecca.
Don't say China.
It's Southeast Asia.
Really?
Yeah, it's largely Japan. They've got reality TV shows. They've got sporting game shows called Caso. They're launching content hubs. The best athletes in the world. One of my buddies is a pro, and he was saying that it's like, when you watch the latest competitions, it's all just like what 15-year-old Japanese kid is going to beat which 15-year-old Chinese kid. And I'll tell you exactly why this is. It's because we outsourced all the manufacturing of our skateboards and our products to China. China built an industry around making skateboards. It became prominent in Southeast Asia. And the United States, it's completely dead to where the biggest manufacturers have fled the country and aren't producing content anymore. And so, not to get in a whole tirade about skateboarding, it's one example. And these libertarians are like, but we all make money. And I'm like, yeah, you make money for 6 years until you've completely extracted every job and every expert, and they're no longer teaching kids, and kids are no longer getting involved. And then when they grow up, what do? So I'm talking to my buddies, and I went to Chicago over the holidays, and a couple of my buddies from back in the day, we were hanging out. And I said, as we were walking downtown, new construction, I said, wow, look at that stair set. That's what skateboarders do. And I'm like, where are all the kids at? And they're like, bro, kids don't go outside anymore.
Yeah.
They sit in their room depressed on the internet all day on social media scrolling TikTok. And I'm like, this is a component of what happens when you open things up, sell off all your jobs. People don't realize They think that, especially these leftists, liberals, they think that money is food. They think that money is energy. They don't realize it's just a representation of your labor. And these libertarians too, they don't realize that when you outsource your jobs, when you import laborers and you leave American workers behind, you're giving yourself a good 10 years before your entire system completely collapses due to people who have no culture, who are bored, depressed, and nobody can do the jobs anymore. So I'm sick of this. I'm sick of that libertarian.
Riot Diet is printed in the United States.
Good. All of our Boonies HQ boards are made in the United States.
There we go.
It's more expensive to do. And so somebody tweeted at me when I tweeted this, and they said surfboards used to be made in the United States.
Yeah.
And local wood shops that would make surfboards would hold events in the park. Or at the beach or whatever. And they tell everybody, come down, check out our new surfboards. And then families would be like, oh, let's go look at the surfboard thing. That the people who make the skateboards, the surfboards, their kids would come, learn from their dad how to make a surfboard, and you had generational surfboards, hand-shaped.
Now it's all machines.
You had a dad with 3 sons, and each of those sons knew how to surfboard.
The Takeyamas. I have a Takeyama.
And then what happened? This is what someone tweeted at me, because I don't know surfing. He said, now it's all being made in China.
It is, yeah.
All these companies are gone.
You said the exact thing I was going to come up with. We don't have a generational mindset.
Yep.
We have lost the ability to see past ourselves, to see our grandkids. I like planting trees. The things that I do, the things I'm setting up for grandkids, great-grandkids, I'll never meet, because it's important to me that when they grow up, they have the idea of what I thought America should be left for them. I think we should be the first generation that leaves it in a better place than how we found it.
But let's talk about what it means to be a better place. And that's the crux of the argument, is these individuals who are arguing that so long as we're at 3% growth, it's a better place. I say BS. BS. When we have kids who can experience a Christmas morning, and not everybody has to have Christmas. You can have Hanukkah. You can have Kwanzaa. I don't really care. I'm just
saying.
Why
Hanukkah though, Tim?
Because it's another holiday event.
Sorry.
Those are the ones we have. I don't care what you celebrate.
For me, you just tell us that you're selling out to the Daily Wire.
I have matzos in the other room. But you know what? As this nation had been predominantly Christian, we have a tradition of Christmas. And I don't care if someone celebrates something else, but the idea that you can import an entirely different culture that doesn't celebrate these same things, that doesn't have a same reverence for freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly.
Holidays.
I don't care. Absolutely. I like you go to the mall and there's a Santa Claus and you tell them what you want and it's funny. It's fun traditions. There's no number here. So how do you leave this country a better place? In my opinion, it's more Christmas. And I'm only using Christmas as one example. It's baseball and it's apple pie.
Yes.
Whatever you think. I like when people watch the Super Bowl. I think it's fun. I think the ridiculous Super Bowl commercial nonsense, I think it's fun. These are things that are inherently American.
What about like the satanic halftime shows? What about those?
Yeah, see, that's where things are falling apart. And this is their weird attempt at trying to make
Justin
some mixed bag culture.
Janet Jackson.
Yeah,
it ruined America.
That is when it started, right there.
I'll tell you this. I'll say this.
Boom. Then you have an insurrection. That's what happens.
You guys know about the Grooming Gang story blowing up in the UK?
Yeah.
We're going to save this one for the members only because it's so horrifically graphic. I don't want any kids out there who may be listening to stumble upon this. And I want to stress this. Everybody says, Tim doesn't want to swear because of demonetization. No. In the early days of the show, we swore. People emailed us saying, hey, I put the show on my TV and my kids are in the room.
Yeah.
Please don't swear. I said, okay, we'll try to make it top-level news and we'll keep the crazy stuff. But the story out of the UK with the grooming gangs, my understanding is that somebody took a transcript from the trials. Michael Malice tweets it out, saying he didn't understand the depravity. People don't understand. This story is so absolutely horrifying, what these gangs were doing to 13 and 12-year-old girls. We're not talking about grooming. We're talking about torture, like hardcore torture. Now, I'm not going to get into full details. We'll say for the members only, where it's not so family-friendly. The point is, the story now being reported is that politicians and police intentionally covered up the mass gang abuse of children because they wanted to persist a narrative that multiculturalism worked. That is absolutely insanity.
Yes, they'd rather keep their jobs than stop this atrocity.
They'd rather keep their ideology.
They're terrified of being called racist.
Well, the FBI cooked the books too, right?
Well,
it wasn't like, I mean, you can say what you want about like ethnic classifications, but they certainly they lumped in Latinos as white. right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, they've always done that.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.